शुरू में एक ही स्टोर था अपना वालकेश्वर का, बेस्ड ऑन द डिमांड वहाँ पे दे यूज टू मेक इट इन स्मॉल बैचेस. So they took feedback of the local Gujarati Jain people who were staying in there કે તમને કયું ફ્લેવર ભાવે છે, તમે ઘરે કયું ખાઓ છો, અરે અમે તો આંબા ખાઈએ છીએ, આમરસ, તો લેટ્સ મેક સમથિંગ વિથ મેંગો, યુ નો. સો કસ્ટમર ફીડબેક ઇઝ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ નાઉ, ઇટ્સ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ધેન, ઇટ્સ ગોઈંગ ટુ બી ઓલવેઝ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ.
Kiran is going to be doing a session with us during the marketing festival. Some of you might even get the opportunity to work on a project with Kiran himself. So I would really request you to sign up for our marketing festival. So Kiran, basically Asia, Southeast Asia में मजा आया.
बहुत मज़ा आया.
तो इतना मजा आ रहा था. What you were saying, it sounded pretty cool. What you were doing. So why did you come back to India?
Because I watched Swadesh, you know. The plan was always there to join the family business. But it's just that PNG happened and it was a very good profile. तो decide किया कि थोड़ा experience ले लेते हैं और हो सकता है business में काम आए. Because by that time I had already seen my dad and my uncle, you know, in the family business doing their job, and I had something in mind because I had also seen how other brands in the market who started at probably the similar time or even after us, and at what level they were now, you know. So एक mind में एक छोटा सा एक vision grow होना शुरू हो गया था. So the plan was always to come back. So वो time पे फिर decision लिया, and you know, it was not an easy decision because this was a corporate job. There was like work from home in Singapore, you know, you could chill. There was international travel, there were a lot of perks associated, and here I was coming back to India. So I think I am taking it with a bit of pinch of salt, you know. Okay. That we all love our country, but when you are coming there from the purpose of taking your business ahead, and you know that what are the challenges that lie in front of you, you know.
Enough, yeah.
Doing business in other countries, we all know what the ease of business, you know, ranking पे हम लोग कहाँ पे हैं.
Correct.
Leaving everything, starting from scratch. For me that time it was like starting from scratch, क्योंकि अपना एक ही स्टोर था और विजन था उसको आगे ग्रो करना.
So tell us about the history of Apsara Ice Creams. Like I see this board here which talks about, you know, the brand being almost 50 years old now. And what has been your relationship with the family business? Was it just कि घर का आइसक्रीम शॉप है, वहाँ पे जाके रोज आइसक्रीम खा के आऊँगा? When did you seriously think about हाँ ये अभी मुझे बढ़ाना है आगे?
This was started in 1971 by my uncle at that time.
Right.
They were basically the family. My grandfather had moved from our village in Kutch to Mumbai in search of better opportunity,
Right.
you know, and they were looking at कि क्या business करना चाहिए. They explored many options. I think they have opened a video library. They have had a kirana ka shop, like selling grains, before eventually saying that ice cream is something which we feel has a good potential.
Right.
अच्छा margin है और अच्छा यहाँ पे a family of I think around 20-25, it was joint family को sustain करने के लिए इतना enough है. So they started in 71. They bought a small shop in Walkeshwar. That is where they decided we want to start with. And शुरू में एक ही स्टोर था अपना वालकेश्वर का, based on the demand वहाँ पे they used to make it in small batches, limited flavors. So they took the top fruit flavors, कौन से हैं, मैंगो है, सीताफल है, ऑरेंज है वो टाइम पे. So they took feedback of the local Gujarati Jain people who were staying in there કે તમને કયું ફ્લેવર ભાવે છે, તમે ઘરે કયું ખાઓ છો, અરે અમે તો આંબા ખાઈએ છીએ, આમરસ, so let's make something with mango, you know.
Right.
So customer feedback is important now, it's important then, it's going to be always important.
Right.
So that is how they started experimenting with the flavors, and they produce only as much they can sell.
Correct.
तो there were no sophisticated refrigeration, you know, इसको
No
लंबा,
storage.
हाँ, क्योंकि shelf life नहीं है, 2 दिन रखेंगे तो पूरा sandy और powdery हो जाएगा.
Right.
So they used to make in small batches. The guy used to sit in just in the front of the shop. The milk used to come fresh at 4-5 a.m. in the morning, and immediately they used to boil it, start making. So all the early bird people in Walkeshwar, you are going out for their morning walk, they still fondly remember कि आपके शॉप के बाहर आइसक्रीम बनते हमने देखा है. You know, even now when they come, they say that is what our experience is. So that is how they started. And apart from selling in that shop, the other focus was on selling on B2B. So at that time, ice cream was a commodity which retail में इतना ज़्यादा चलता नहीं था. It was like something which is meant for the elite, rich.
वेडिंग्स में और
हाँ, तो वेडिंग में तो
parties
चलता ही है, बट अगर आपको आइसक्रीम खाने शॉप में जाना है तो वो कल्चर नहीं था वो टाइम पे।
Right.
आप बहुत ही स्पेशल ओकेजन्स पे जाते थे, किसी का बर्थडे हो या महीने में एक बार जाना हो, तो वो हिसाब से लाइक टुडे probably you go out and have ice creams almost every alternate day now. That was it. But B2B was a market where you could sell a lot of ice cream. So the focus at that time was mainly on B2B because retail had its lot of tamjam. You had to manage the store, then there was a cashier, you had to maintain customer data, billing, sophisticated POS तो था नहीं था, जो रोकड़ा था, तो सब सब it might be some pilferage happening, ये वो। तो B2B में क्या है, आइसक्रीम सप्लाई करो, it's a headache of that catering वाला, how you want to do, this is the quantity, this is the rate। और वो टाइम पे तो क्रेडिट भी नहीं चलता था, so we used to take advance payment and do the business, because very limited players. If you wanted good quality ice cream, Apsara Ice Creams is where you would go. Brands like Naturals and Gokul came after, so 80s के बाद वो आए, so that initial decade was like when Apsara, for this kind of fresh fruit ice cream, we were the only name. Over a period of time, this became the bread and butter. And apart from that, then of course they wanted to diversify. They wanted, my uncle and my dad joined in the 80s. So then they converted the store into a restaurant. Along with the ice cream, they also started selling fast food. We were like known for our fast food. Then we introduced North Indian, South Indian, as per जो जनता का demand है वैसा. So we mainly came to be known for food. But the name was always kept at Apsara Ice Creams. As kid, I used to always, I remember going on weekends, galle pe बैठता था. When dad was looking after customers, the waiters, and
you were interested in the cash.
Yeah, always interested in the cash. That's the sweetest part of business. So I used to sit there, see customers coming, giving money, taking the change back, and if I did a good job, dad would give some pocket money, कि ये ले बेटा. So that's how it started. Eventually, the Gujju in you takes over. That this is something if I see my family doing, and eventually this is because आगे जाके कुछ ना कुछ तो काम करना ही है।
Right.
तो एक ऑप्शन है कि अपना बिजनेस करो, दूसरा ऑप्शन है जॉब करो। Starting up was not that cool at that time,
Right.
It's very cool now. So these were the two options. So if you have something which is well established, even though it's like in one outlet, but it was in a premium location, a set client, regular customers, repeat customers, everybody knows what the brand is. So that's base and that stability was always there.
Right.
Then the decision which I have to take is whether you want to take this forward or at least start from this, or you want to go and explore something different altogether.
Right. Kiran, now, when you came into the country again and you looked at Apsara the way it was at that point of time, what was going through your mind and how did you enter that entire phase of planning for the rebirth of Apsara, if I can use that word?
So when I joined, the restaurant was still there. So we were doing food and along with that we were doing ice creams. But if you want to scale up, I felt at that time restaurant is not something which I want to take and go ahead. Like I don't see 100 restaurants pan India, because restaurant is like it's like an art. You need the right recipe, you need the right chef. Even in our store, even in the restaurant, if for some day the chef was ill and someone else made the sambar, customers would come to know that taste mein kuch farak hai. So if you want to build a chain of restaurants like that, you need to have standardization, which I felt was very difficult. But we had ice cream, at that point sale mein uska contribution 20-30% ही था, because food was 70%. But this was a product which had a great demand, across ages. This is the quintessential dessert for us after lunch, and those were the days when pancakes were not there, Belgian waffles were not there.
Right.
So for desserts, probably donuts is something which was just starting, I think in 2014, 2015, but it was mainly ice cream, milkshakes,
Right.
और वही सब था. तो product का demand तो था. There are a lot of brands which are there at that time who have multiple outlets across India. So this is something which is definitely doable. Now, how?
You mean standardization was possible with ice cream and hence scalable?
Yes, because I wanted at that time a model where I did not want the store person to make anything.
Right.
I just wanted them to serve whatever I'm giving you. You can serve it in a big scoop, you can serve it in a small scoop, you can put it in a cone. तो आप कोन तक बना सकते हो. कोन बनाने का रेसिपी भी मैं दूंगा. आइसक्रीम बनाने के लिए आई वॉज नॉट लाइक कंफर्टेबल और आई डिड नॉट हैव द कॉन्फिडेंस दैट पीपल कैन मेक इट एट द स्टोर. दैट वॉज नंबर वन. सेकेंड, आई ऑल्सो सॉ द चैलेंज that if a store has to make ice cream for itself, you cannot have a lot of flavors. You cannot have equipment which is going to give the kind of quality, texture, taste and everything. For that you need to have a big setup where you produce a lot of ice cream at one location versus producing ice cream in small quantities at multiple locations.
Correct.
Right? So अगर centralized, standardized एक brand चाहिए तो we want to go with ice cream and we want to make it at one place and we will sell it at different places.
Right.
Right? तो वालकेश्वर का स्टोर था अपना. The next challenge is now if you want to go and have multiple stores, so two options. One is you invest your money, खुद जगह लो, या एक franchise model करो.
Right.
Yeah, and franchise model is something which has been tried and tested, provided the brand awareness is there, the product is good, the recipe is intact and margins are good, so you can run with the franchise model. But at that time we wanted to test कि franchise model किस तरह का होगा अपना, you know, what will be the kind of space required, what would be the kind of location strategy क्या होगा. ये अभी मेन्यू में अभी 10-12 फ्लेवर्स है. whether you want to change the menu, do you want to bring in some more flavors, do you want to have different categories. तो वो सब में प्लानिंग के लिए वी सेड लेट्स ओपन अ फ्यू स्टोर्स विच आर कंपनी ओन. सो वी विल इन्वेस्ट, यू नो, सो यू सेड यू नो पैसा. सो लकीली पीएनजी में थोड़ा सा पैसा बनाया था तो वो पैसा इसमें डाला एंड वी ओपनड अ फ्यू स्टोर्स कंपनी रन इन good locations where there was good footfall.
Right.
There was a mix of people coming. So Powai was one location, Andheri Lokhandwala was the other location, King Circle which is famous for those UDP restaurants and a lot of, you know, foodie people, and थाने इन पाचपखाड़ी में चौथा लोकेशन. तो ये 4 लोकेशन पे हम लोग ने कंपनी स्टोर डाला. बट डालने से पहले बहुत सारा काम करना बाकी था. What is the brand identity going to be? You know, I am going to have a store, but what is the store going to look like?
Right.
ब्रांड का वो टाइम पे एक लोगो था बट इट वॉज लाइक अ वेरी कच्चा लोगो. यू नो, इफ आई वॉन्ट रिकॉल, दिस इज नॉट द लोगो विच इज गोइंग टू स्टैंड आउट. यू नो, दिस इज नॉट द गोल्डन आर्च ऑफ मैकडोनल्ड
Correct.
which is going to earn me recall. Not now, 5 years down the line. That is where the marketing experience in PNG helped me. So we shortlisted a couple of agency, gave them a brief that this is what we want to go ahead with. Please start designing key elements for us, like what will be our logo, what will be our store look and feel, what is the packaging which we are going to have, right from the cups to the carry bags to boxes. Everything we would want to have a website of our own. At that time probably social media इतना बड़ा नहीं था, but एक Facebook पे presence, I think in our times Orkut was something which was popular, you know, in 2006-07. Then it died a slow and painful death and took over, and now Facebook was the thing. So we said Facebook पे भी कुछ करेंगे, plus it's cost effective. So a lot of things, you know, started. That entire exercise took probably 3 to 6 months, you know, but it was very important to get all the ingredients for our brand ready before we go to market. You know, simultaneously we were also deciding our menu, the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, promotion. तो product में अपने को पता है कि handcrafted ice cream चाहिए with real fruits, right? But apart from fruits, there are dry fruits, there are chocolates, there are sugar-free ice creams in the same flavor. So a lot of
And you somehow figured out that you also have pani puri which can be converted to an ice cream.
yeah, I mean, you know, why not? You know, fusion foods is the trend, you know, so log they keep on dabbling. So that is something which innovation always leads to an experiment, and if it's successful we scale it up. The biggest challenge at that time for us was also the product shelf life. You know, the way we made our ice creams, they were made to be consumed maximum within a week. Otherwise, you know, it becomes sandy, the texture is lost, taste थोड़ा सा compromise करता है. So we had to overhaul. So we brought in a consultant who understands, you know, the details, the science of milk.
Tech.
Yes, it's food tech. You know, like milk में science है. I mean, if you know mess around with fat, that fat will give you a lot of चर्बी आगे जाके. So we had to. So it was a learning process for me. So like back to school, understand what goes in milk. कितना उबालना चाहिए, कितना नहीं उबालना चाहिए. फ्रूट को कैसे प्रोसेस करना चाहिए, कितना शक्कर डालना चाहिए, यू नो, शक्कर डालने से पहले उसका टेस्ट. सो वी काइंड ऑफ स्टार्टेड विद अ क्रूड लेबोरेटरी वेयर वी जस्ट टेस्टेड 3-4 की पैरामीटर्स एंड देन वेंट अहेड विद प्रोडक्शन. सो दैट गेव आवर आइसक्रीम अ बिट मोर शेल्फ लाइफ, you know, but still not as much as the commercial brands, you know, because we stayed away from using any sort of artificial preservatives or emulsifiers.
Right.
You know, that can give you shelf life of 6 months to a year, but concept अपना था कि fresh fruits रखना है और उसके natural form में ही उसको आपको consume करना है. So with all of these, you know, changes and new development, new brand identity, then we opened the store, the 4 locations. I personally sat at the counter of Powai store and Lokhandwala store, you know, sitting there interacting with customers, कि भाई मेरे प्रोडक्ट का एक्सेप्टेंस क्या है, डू पीपल सी दैट दिस इज़ अ ब्रांड विच वर्थ स्पेंडिंग मनी ऑन, you know, or do they feel that no, I am better off going to you know, another brand which sells similar ice creams. So that gave me the confidence. That also gave me an understanding of the P&L, कि एक शॉप चलाने के लिए मेरा महीने का खर्चा कितना आने वाला है, रेंट, इज दिस, द काइंड ऑफ मार्जिन विच आई एम गोइंग टू गिव टू माई फ्रेंचाइजीज, बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन द लोकेशन. सो इफ यू आर गेटिंग अ प्राइम लोकेशन वेर यू हैव टू पे मोर रेंट, you have to be there. Like you cannot compromise on the rent and go some in some gully. Whether in this kind of a rent, I as a company can make money because I have a better margin. But if I were to reduce the margin and give it to a franchise, will they be able to make money? Will they be profitable? Will they be able to sustain? So all of these things I was learning on the go. And once the model was fine-tuned, I think 2015 second half is when we started giving out third-party franchises.
So anybody who is watching this, you know, you basically just heard Kiran talk about how to launch a brand.
For a brand, any element, whether it's the brand name or it's the tagline or it's the color of your cup or the shape of your spoon, all of these are very important hooks by which the customer can remember you.